Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Um, Man, it has been quite the day and quite the week. As you see, I still have not gotten past Wave 4 in Roughneck Rumble. If you haven't gone to the YOM website to play it live there, you can. I've been playing it every day. I'm going to get past that Wave 4 if it ends up being the death of me. Yeah, so much to go on. I've got a full agenda. I am going to be rolling solo today. We'll see, Andy and Yort are over in Helsinki. Actually, they're on planes. They're both on planes at the very moment, so they can't get on this. But Andy did record with me a little bit earlier today, a video to kind of give me a heads up on what happened in Helsinki. So I'll play that for us here towards the end. And then Rowan, the CTO, is teching, so I didn't want to stop him just to do this live stream. There's a lot still tech wise that he's juggling, so kind of I'm gonna fly it solo, but that's okay. I've got a lot to go over. If you're new to YOM, and it's very possible that you're seeing the YOM logo for the first time because we're having a big push in getting our name out there. What we are a decentralized cloud gaming network. So, a little quickly, my name is Jeff Outlaw. I'm a CXO, Chief Experience Officer at YOM. My background, I've been making video games since about 2000. Right? I started off on GameCube and PlayStation 2. Been in the industry for a long time, did a lot of VR titles and all that. And being in the gaming industry we're a pretty insular group in the game development industry. We all kind of know each other in some way or another, or at least we know somebody who knows somebody who we all know each other. And my LinkedIn page is just a flood with people whose studios are laying off people, and there's a contraction going on in the gaming industry. It's a little scary right now. What we're producing, what YOM has created, is, I think, and I think everyone on the YOM team shares this. What we're creating is something that's going to greatly invigorate both the gaming industry as far as finding more players and bringing in creativity, because the cost of launching a game title is going to be so much less expensive, and the reach that you're going to have by deploying on a decentralized cloud network is going to be huge. It's going to be much larger than what you could do with normal systems. So what a decentralized cloud network allows people to do is, if you have just a regular small laptop that you maybe do your homework on, these kids get a laptop from school, but not powerful to play games. Well, you're playing off the cloud. You're playing off of our network. And that means you can play on any device, even the phone. You can play these AAA quality Unreal games, Unity games, everything that you would play by downloading, installing. All that download and install goes away, and you're just playing off of our network on your through the internet. So it's great in that way. For game developers and publishers, they can put their game up on our network and then post a link on any website, inside of Telegram, inside of Discord. So their reach to the players, again, is much broader. The players don't have to download and install. They don't have that hesitation of those kinds of gates. And if the game developer decides that they want to make it free to play, they can do that. If they want to throw up a payment wall out in their website before you launch a game, they can do that as well. The flexibility is there for the game developers and the game publishers to decide, how are we going to monetize, and what's the best way to reach more players? That can be the full game, which is what a lot of our partners are saying to us. But there's also a lot of other ones who are saying, listen, how about if we just do a demo of the game, like the first level or so, put that up for free. And then after that first level is over, then you can ship them over to, say, Steam or the Epic Store to download the full game and do the purchase there. That also works. A lot of them, some of the other ones we're talking to are saying, hey, can't we use this also for doing our testing, right? We can have a link on a website, and instead of having to have testers in-house, in one location, they can do testing all around the world by posting the game on a URL that's maybe locked and you have to have a password to get to it. But then the testers can jump in and start playing and testing the game. So this makes your testing cycle a lot less expensive and a lot easier to reach a much wider audience. When you're testing these large multiplayer games, you want to have a lot of people testing at the same time. So anyways, the technology is really, really game-changing to coin a phrase, for the industry, and that's why we're very excited by it. Now, for the game players, for the PC owners, the third leg of this is that they can now, if you own a gaming rig at home, you can earn passive income by loaning your rig to our network on the times you're not using it. So you go to bed at night, and or you go off to work, and your PC is sitting at home idle. Well, you put it up on our network and allow us to stream games from your PC to the end user. We do this with a secure device. We ship over an SSD that you plug into your computer, and that SSD now is the brains of your computer. We don't ever touch your hard drive. We don't ever touch your storage, anything like that. All we do is reboot off of our drive, and then we just borrow your GPU and your sound card and those kinds of things to stream the game. So your PC stays secured. This is another advantage that we have over any other design system to do decentralized cloud. Now, there have been other projects that were claiming to do a decentralized cloud network, but ultimately, I think we're the last man standing as far as like actually producing what we're saying can be produced. Your gaming rig is not limited to a single stream person to person. Depending on the size of your GPU, you can stream more than one stream at the same time, but we pay you per game stream. So it can be about 50. I think our average will be about $53 per stream per month. So the best way to calculate this is we have a app on our website. It's a rig check, and you just go ahead and put in your. I think you just run the app from your computer, and it'll tell you about how many nodes, how many streams you could serve with your gaming rig at the at the way it's configured currently. It's not just the GPU; it's also your upload speed and all that affects things. So, anyways, that's a quick overview of what YOM is. If you've never heard of us before, obviously we've got a lot going on our website. We've got a Medium page that has a lot of information about us, but let's jump into the weekly update because I think that's for the people who are tuning in from the community, this is the things they want to hear. We had some questions this week about the NANO because the site went up live. So if you go to freshminers.com and you search for YOM, you'll find us. So our NANO page has gone live. It was a soft launch. We didn't really publicize it very much, but we did say something about it in the last town hall. But it is live now. These the devices are expected to ship in sometime in Q1. There is the pipeline works something like this. We get the hardware from Taiwan. We ship that hardware over to the UK where each device is flashed with the current image and then packaged and then shipped over to our distributors who are Fresh Miners, the website I just talked about. The first 1,000 discs have already been created. They're in the UK right now, getting packaged and ready to ship over to Fresh Miners. But what we're doing is we have security concerns. Actually, I did. This is super helpful. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. What we're making sure is that our security is as strong as it needs to be. Yeah, here we go. We'll get this thing up. So from a security standpoint, let's share this window. We've got it in security in 3 different directions we have to pay attention to, right? 3 layers of security, we'll call it. So the hosts, that's the people who are plugging this device into their PC. We want to make sure that the devices, again, we separate entirely. We don't touch your hard drive. We don't touch we use some RAM, but we don't touch your hard drive, and your storage is all yours because our device itself is a hard drive, a bootable hard drive. So we want to make sure that is very easy to see that your device is, your PC is not being touched. And we're not asking you to partition off like 2 terabytes of space on your hard drive, anything like that. We handle all that on our side so that you as an owner don't have to worry about it. We obviously have to make sure that the game data itself on these devices is secure for the game developers. Game developers don't want to put their executable files on just every device that's available. So we have that layer of security to make sure that we strengthen as well. And then the third is our own technology. We want to make sure that our technology is also secured on these devices, that they can't be cloned and that kind of thing. So these changes to the security is what's being worked on currently. But the devices are, like we said, we're already in the hands of the people who are getting ready to package them. Even once so we're not working on another image for them to upgrade to send out to that to put on those devices. But even when those devices are flashed and they're packaged and ready to be shipped and sent over to the Fresh Miners, the whole time our tech team is still teching, right? We're still building stuff. So once these devices ship, there will still also be a first-time update to the device. When you plug in and register, there'll be an update beyond just so we have to get the new games. Every game's on the network will have to also go to the hosts, and that's going to be a fair amount of games. So that'll be a bit of an upgrade. So that's kind of how the process works. So if you're looking at that Q1 thinking I'm purchasing now, but the Q1 is a ship date, really that is because there's still some things that we want to shore up. And then again, as we're adding more games, it just means that there's going to be more to be adding. That is the security update I wanted to go over. And again, this is a town hall, but you're welcome to ask questions. I have my chat window open, so I'm looking for questions as well. If you've got some questions, I'm sure feel free to drop them into the various chats. All right, other things that happened this week. If you didn't notice, and some people in the community did notice, we've launched two new. We've got launched into Asia. Is really what it comes down to. We've got a node in Japan and a node in Singapore. This is a big deal, right? Because that whole portion of the world is massive on games. Everyone knows that that's where you want to be when you're in the gaming industry, into Asia. So we've made it. Hey, congratulations to us. Now, part of this launching of these two nodes into that region is because we have partners out there who wanted to make sure that they give it a shakedown, try out what we're talking about and understand what it means to have instant play. And this is not just game publisher partners. This is other partners that are on I don't want to say a higher level, but it is certainly a very exciting level. Some of these partners that we're talking to in the Asian market. So it's not just the game publishers. It's also some of the people who would be very helpful in our distribution of the game system. So that was very big news. All right, that's kind of that's where we are with the nodes. So if you go to stats.yom.net, you'll see our active map. You'll see which nodes are active, which ones are hosting, how many sessions have been hosted, that kind of thing. There's all kinds of stats there. Again, if you're new to our community, you should know that one of the things that we really try hard to do is to be as transparent as possible with all the information that we have. I mean, it has to stay within reasons. There are business reasons to maybe not be completely transparent. Obviously, if you've run a business before, you know this. But one thing that we understand, because we've been in the crypto game for a while, all of us here at the studio, is that there have been a lot of projects that jumped up and took in a whole bunch of money and then walked away, right? They rug pulled. There's too many of those that went on. And ultimately, it hampers those of us who are left building real technology using blockchain as part of the loop. I mean, we will say always about YOM, we're a technology company that uses some blockchain in the back end for the payment system. But ultimately, any game doesn't have to be a Web3 game. Any game can launch on our network. And then the definition of game will also expand. Regardless, because of the reputation that many of the crypto projects have kind of shackled onto the entire industry, we think the best way to combat that is to be as transparent as possible. We have real conviction in our concepts. We have real conviction in our technology. There's no reason for us to hide details and not share them with the community. So that's just a little bit of our ethos, which kind of leads us to the Medium article I just released on Tuesday. Again, if you go to the YOM official Medium page, you'll see that we've posted articles over and over again about what our technology, how our technology can be used, where our ethos is. This past week, we wrote an article about Walter. Walter is our rust-colored ape. You've seen him on a lot of our posts. We use him for our marketing efforts. But a while back, Yort and I spent about an hour and a half talking about why are we using Walter and who is he really? Actually, at that meeting, we actually came up with the name Walter, kind of because we were leaning towards a Walter White from Breaking Bad kind of mentality, kind of like a Walter White and Tony Stark mixture. But ultimately, we didn't think that was a little too, what's the word, aggressive, I guess. And really what and you'll see this in the article when you read it, is we're really kind of more like, Walter is more like the dude from Big Lebowski. We expect that the decentralization technology that you see popping up, that we, of course, take, that we are, of course, a big part of, it's inevitable. The decentralization of technology, because we can provide people a way to make passive income with their computers at home. And this helps people who are looking for extra income streams, which is, again, so many people are in a gig economy. This is a good way to earn income because you're providing value to us. It's a value exchange. It's not an airdrop or a free reward. Your computer has to do the work for you to get paid, like an Uber driver does. But ultimately, this is going to be part of the way that the economic system is going to roll over into something different, and it's inevitable. And much like the dude in the Big Lebowski, we kind of just expect you don't have to fight anything. You don't have to fight nature when nature's on your side. You just kind of roll with nature, and maybe you have to be more patient. But that's kind of the way that we feel over here at YOM, that we're rolling. So, anyways, that Medium article is up. You can feel free to read that. Let us know what you think of it. This week, we're working on a more tech-sided article about what our tech teams wins and losses were when setting up testnet, because our testnet is it's a challenge to get the whole thing up and running. But now where we're at, it's looking back, it's pretty amazing what we've accomplished. Let's see. So okay, let's see the nodes live around the world. Yeah. So the link, Selfridge, if you're looking for the link for the nodes around the world, you go to stats.yom.net and you'll see the map. So that is the Medium articles. One other piece of technology that we've released, right, that's been helpful. We set it up so that we can help people who are maybe curious about should I or should I not purchase a node, purchase a host. We set up the rig check, and it's on apps.yom.net. This rig check checks your machine to see, again, if you're how many nodes you might be eligible to run based on your GPU and your upload speed, and these kinds of things. To this point, we have had tests done from 48 cities in 22 countries. These countries include the US and the UK and France and Germany, but all the way out to Bahrain, Japan, Turkey, Qatar, Iran. I mean, we got people all around the world testing to see if they can run a node and how many nodes they can, how many streams they can run off their host at the same time. It's pretty powerful. Not just the amount of places around the world that people are testing, but also the number of configurations. We've had 30 GPU configurations that have been tested. And that's what it is, like the 4070 Ti, the 4070, it's just a 47 plane. There's many different configurations within the 4070 range, but really we've had some 5070s tested. We've had some 3060s tested. It's nice to know that there's a large range of computers who are testing, and then it'll again say you could run 2 streams at the same time. You could run 5 streams at the same time. And if you average at about $53 per stream per month, then you're talking some of these people could be earning a good $250 a month off their computer when it's idle. It's kind of nice. I think I've gotten through. Oh, no, it's there's been so anyone who's been following attention to our socials, right? Today we dropped our video teaser of what YOM is. Again, this was a big part about this is actually the kickoff of our marketing push for the sale of nanos and leading to TGE. So that video has been seen already over 15,000 times, and it's been out for how many hours were we on? Like 4 hours, which is, pretty insane, but great. I mean, the guys who did the video did a great job. Everyone from the people who did the script to the company we contracted to do the video. So we're super happy about that. If you haven't seen it, go to our Twitter page. I believe we got it pinned. If you have seen it and you haven't commented on it, what's wrong with you? You should be commenting on it. I mean, you got to tickle the algo, man. You got to post and then and repost it, and also like and also comment within the thread. And get a conversation going about the video, because this is all what helps us. But 15,000 views in 4 hours is, really good. We expect it's going to grow over the course of this whole weekend. What that has, and that is a kickoff to our Quest system, which is going to launch next week. Actually, I think the Quest system's live today. We're launching new quests, I think, on next Thursday as well, to even juice it up. And some of those quests will involve playing games and reaching certain levels inside the games. So that in this Quest system, we're awarding XP, and those XP will translate into other rewards that we're going to be building into the system. So this is all gone live, and I think, again, this is just the start of a big push as we try to get those nano sales. Really just try to get the awareness of what YOM is and what it's going to lead to in the gaming industry out to the masses, because I don't think everyone knows yet that decentralized technology is really the way the games are going to go. I would say that this push into this new marketing effort has gotten my Telegram ablaze with people reaching out to say, hey, we can give you our services. We can get you 1,000 followers. There's a lot of, if you're part of a crypto project and you're using Telegram a lot, you've been the recipient. I almost said victim. You've been the recipient of a lot of messages like this as well as I have been. And I appreciate everybody who's reaching out to say, hey, they start off very nice. Hey, YOM looks amazing. We want to be able to help. Let's do an AMA and we'll get you, 2 million views, which, they may think that they're correct. We are a project that looks for quality over numbers. And we're happy to have high numbers, but they should really be quality numbers. And, it's the industry is so susceptible to botting and things like this too. So anyways, we're sifting through all these different Telegram requests to see who who might actually add some value to the project and give us good publicity, and who might just be looking for making a buck off of our back, which of course we don't want to allow. I got another question here. Let's see. Given that YOM is building let me read this out. Given that YOM is building a decentralized cloud gaming infrastructure powered by idle GPUs, how does your DePIN model ensure consistent low latency performance and AAA gaming quality across 20 plus regions while competing with centralized giants like, yeah, GeForce Now and Xbox Cloud Gaming, especially when dealing with variety of hardware from distributed GPU providers? You have hit on the big reason why we are so bullish. It is not easy to take a look at. Like I said, we had 36 unique GPU configurations on all these people who did their tests. That technology that we've developed that allows us to say, okay, this GPU can do this many, this GPU can do that many. The hyper orc, that the orchestrator that watches a whole network, that's really the key technology. It's patent pending and everything, but that's what is instrumental into tackling the problem that you're talking about. It turns out that those central models like GeForce Now and Xbox Live have big problems. I've talked about this before, so I'm going to assume that you haven't heard the rant. I'll give my rant in the shortest version possible. When you have a centralized server, right? And I'm in South Carolina, kind of like in the hills of South Carolina, near the Appalachians, in the U.S. I'm fairly remote. I think the data center that I would have to hit from here is somewhere in Virginia if I was to try to play NVIDIA GeForce Now. So there's distance lag. Whereas if I'm coming in from the YOM network, I could be hitting a node run by somebody in Greenville, which is 20 minutes from me. So that distance to the central server is part of the problem that those centralized servers have. Second problem they have is that it's very expensive for them to scale. It's expensive for them to launch and to scale. So they build a big building and they outfit it with a whole bunch of GPUs, a whole bunch of machines. So they've incurred the cost of building the building and then getting all that equipment and then maintaining all that equipment and maintaining that building. There's cooling costs and there's upgrade costs. So it's very expensive. Therefore, they have to charge massive amounts of money to the people, the game publishers who want to use their network. So cost is a big issue for those central servers. And then because they can't scale, and NVIDIA GeForce Now is kind of notorious for this. You go there on a Friday or a Saturday night when everybody wants to game, you get put in a queue and you have to wait 2 hours before you can actually jump into the game. Because they won't add more computers. If they did, then Tuesday, those computers sit idle. Tuesday morning, those computers sit idle. They don't get used, and then they've incurred the cost of having machines that aren't getting used. So they're trying to strike a balance between how many machines should we have to match the load, and at high load times they can't handle it, and at low load times they're wasting money. So because our network doesn't do that, we pay only when your GPU is being used. You get paid on a Saturday night, and then we have more people getting paid Saturday nights. And then we have on Tuesdays when people, probably don't have the machine up and running anyways. We're not spending money on hosting those machines or streaming from those machines. So, and then for us to expand the network, it's a zero cap expense, right? We are just making more of the hard drives available for people to purchase to stand up their hosts. But we don't have to pay for another building, and we don't have the cost. And I should say also the environmental damage that's happening when you have these massive data centers being built all over the world. What they end up doing is they find a remote location where the land is cheap, and they build these big data centers there, but it messes with the environment there, screws up with the water tables and the locals who live around that area. It's remote, but it's not empty. They're all get negatively affected by having these large data centers there. And then again, if you're too far away from those large data centers, you're going to have lag introduced because of the distance. So I hope that answers your question about how is it we tackle it. When it comes down to it, if you don't know, the cost of an Amazon game service is about we're about 95% cheaper. So we're about 5 cents per stream. It's what we charge the publishers who want to publish their game on our network, 5 cents an hour. And for Amazon, it's something like $1.20. So it's a huge difference for a game publisher to use a decentralized network, especially to use our decentralized network over, say, Amazon. Whew. And the last piece of it is the Amazon servers. It turns out they're not really great gaming rigs, right? They're made for all kinds of purposes. They have to be multi-purpose. Where we're saying, hey, you've got a gaming rig, you're already able to run games. You got a good sound card. The processor is made for streaming games. It's just streaming it, from the internet in the same way that I'm streaming a video stream right now. It's just an interactive stream. Jeff, tell us more about how publishers will purchase the tokens to pay for tasking of nodes via the open spot market. No, we're not straddling, because not every game publisher, matter of fact, most game publishers don't want to deal with crypto end at all. So they pay us, and we have a bot that purchases from the market instantly. When they purchase from us, we convert that immediately to a purchase off the market. And then we take those YOM tokens and distribute them to the people who are streaming the games. So no, we don't actually force them to purchase tokens. It would just be preventative for the growth of the network at this point, anyways, until publishers kind of clue into the idea that crypto is here to stay. Okay, so I got to the end of that question. Let me jump into, I have a video from Andy. So Andy and I recorded earlier this morning because he's traveling, but he did want to give me a rundown of what happened in Helsinki. And I said, well, why don't we just record this? And then we'll play we'll play this for everyone in the live stream. So let me stand it up, and I will share my screen. Actually, I'll go quiet for a little bit, and you guys can watch Andy and I have this conversation about how it went in Helsinki for he and Yorit. If you don't know, Slush in Helsinki is a VC investor event. So that's where Andy and Yorit were talking to investors and that kind of thing. Why are you not starting? Oh, my computer is going slow. 1 second. Live streams. Sharing that. And here we go. It's playing in the background, but I need to get it up on screen. Here we go. Oh boy. Here we go. Look at that. There's his handsome mug. All right, let me share my screen and audio as well, because I would stink if I didn't do that. Everybody seeing this? I'm going to turn myself off. Andy.
Hello, mate. How are we doing?
From the airport in Helsinki, hey?
From the airport pub in Helsinki, which is the way to do it, I find, with traveling.
The world traveler. All right, so I didn't get to Helsinki. You and Yorit did for Slush. Yep. But catch me up. Slush was what again? What kind of conference was it, and why was it important we went?
Yeah, well, so Slush is really interesting because it's actually a tech fundraising event. So it's the biggest fundraising event for VCs and for all types of, not only tech actually. There is kind of other companies there, but because it's Finland, that's massive in gaming, fintech, medtech, stuff like that, that tends to be the types of people there. And it's the perfect level for us. So it's seed and kind of Series A. So pretty much every VC, well, and even there's a bit here about people call themselves VCs. You know, there are traditional VCs that are here, you know, like the big guys that we all know. And we had some good chats with them, by the way. There's a few, I won't mention the name because it just wouldn't be right, but it's one of the big guys, and I managed to grab him and had a good chat with him, and he was like, wow, this sounds amazing. And he said, come back to us when you're doing your next round, because, you know, we only invest minimum ticket size of like 20 million at a time.
So we'll take 20 million.
I'd love to, but the problem being is that the value of the company then ends
right.
up,
they don't most of the company.
Whatever, they get 90% of the company or whatever. But anyway, but it's a really interesting event, by the way. You sort of, I mean, you've been to these events with me before, right? You rock up and you've got this little tiny badge, and you turn up and somebody goes, you know, you're squinting to see, and then you chat to someone and you don't know whether they're going to be useful for you. You don't know how useful they're going to be. You know, we're wasting their time, they're wasting our time. They've got massive badges and they have this big kind of meeting floor with I took a photo of it. I don't know if I sent it to you. It said, don't waste time talking about the weather. And there's a timer kicking down, maximum 25 minutes to meet it. It's like speed dating.
Serious business.
Yeah, but it's very good because, you know, look, I want to see as many investors as I possibly can, as quick as possible. You know, that's what we're all there for. So again, you know, even when we had the meetings, we were walking up to people in the bypass bit, and the first question is, look, you know, do you invest in cloud gaming? And they go yes, or they go no. And then they go, yes, we do. What sort of size are you? And the responses were really positive. Even even if we didn't talk to investors who were like, yes, I'm investing in the space, there was lots of people saying, right, okay, I want to take your number because I've got a friend here who's going to come in as well.
Right.
And, you know, as we've discussed before, what we're finding is that traditional VCs don't really have any money anymore. They spent too much money in 2021. They haven't managed to exit from their investments in 2021 because the market's gone down. So they're sitting there and saying, yeah, we've got loads of money, we're investing, because that's the story they have to sell to
Right.
the startup community. But really, they don't have any money. Then we tap into family offices, and you see these family offices, and you're like, yes, you know, there's a Turkish New York family office, for example, I met, and they were like, yeah, this is brilliant. And I said, you know, what's your thesis? He said, oh, look, we've invested in a gaming company. You know, this could be a nice bolt-on. You know, what ticket size? They're saying, yeah, we can do whatever we want, up to 30 million. You know, there's less of a, I think with these VCs, they have a very strict regime that they have to invest into, because that's what they agree when they first get their money.
Right.
Whereas family offices, high net worth individuals, they can do what they want if it fits.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
More flexible.
that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
So that was very good. We went to lots of events. I went to something called UK House, which is not a dance festival, by the way, surprisingly enough. Although I did think it was going to be. It's actually the UK government. So we spoke with the Department for Business and Trade, which is massive. We spoke to I spoke to the ambassador for the UK to Finland, who actually, weirdly enough, mentioned metaverses in her speech, which I went afterwards and said, listen, you're really brave. And then weirdly enough, by the way, I met Brendan, and I forget his surname, the guy who did PUBG, and I listened to a speech of him, and Kim, obviously our advisor, was there, and I saw Kim there. But it was very interesting because he mentioned tokenomics, he mentioned peer-to-peer, and he mentioned immersive experiences as opposed to pure games. So look, even though this is, you know, there were a few blockchain investors and there were people who are not scared by blockchain, there was a big kind of Web 2, or almost exclusively Web 2. But there were people starting, and that was only the experiences I had, people starting to talk about parameters and things that are applicable to where we are.
Well, once again, the whole thing, you know, our thesis is it's inevitable that this is the technology that's going to open up gaming to a lot more players, to a larger market. And it's going to reinvigorate creativity because people can take chances. It's not nearly as expensive to take a risk, which is, you know, all fits in with our thesis. I'm sure it sounds like that's, anyways, some of the people they talk to are on that same track.
Definitely. And there was quite a lot of people, some of the startups we spoke to were doing user-generated content. One guy, actually, is the guy who created, so he was Take Two, I believe, Take Two Interactive, and he's the guy who did Grand Theft Auto 1, Grand Theft Auto, and he was the CEO.
Okay.
So we spoke to him, a very nice guy. So I wouldn't have imagined him being CEO of a gaming, like shaved head, Londoner. Do you know what I mean? Like a bit of a geezer, all this stuff. So it was kind of fun. But you know, we spoke to him, and they're now running a company doing individual AI user-generated music, which is directly related to each of the games that you're playing at the time. So you're playing Grand Theft Auto, but you can run your own tunes over the top, which sits in line with the action and also sits in line with your preferences from a music perspective.
Oh, interesting.
So there's things like that.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me I can Grand Theft Auto 6 that we're on, right? That's what they're waiting to ship? When it does ship, I can drive around the city and listen to my bluegrass, folk, banjo music.
Well, I'm not sure they'll let you. They'll probably ban bluegrass, banjo music, mate. But anything else is perfectly acceptable. Yeah.
All right. I'll see what I can get.
Yeah, but and again, I use Grand Theft Auto out there as an example because the guy was the guy on Grand Theft Auto, but obviously he isn't there anymore. But I think the whole model is that they're making everything very specific and very unique and user generated. And and I know, right, that what's going to happen is I'll have created this is, as I'm sure you're saying, you'll create something that works for you. and then you'll end up monetizing it for other people so that they can use it as well. So it ends up being, instead of personalized and me having to spend time creating stuff, someone's going to create it and I'm going to buy it on the marketplace.
Well, this goes back to what I said in the Twitter post I'd done I think it might have been last week, but the granularity or the scalability of your content it'll be more granular, but more tailored to you. And AI and these other outlets, it's really what's happened to media, in that you can always find a podcast that caters to your needs. And it's a lot. Used to be in the US, you had 3 or 4 major channels to get your information from. Now there's all these different podcasts and all this different stuff online that allows you to get stuff more catered to you. And that's going to be the same way with games, right?
Yeah. No, 100%. I think the only thing, as with all that kind of content as well, though, what we definitely, come and say,
hey, you're a special guest appearance.
Yes. He's off for his flight now. So.
Very good.
We're going to visit him. Okay, I'll go speak to him in a minute.
Okay.
See you in a bit. But yeah, so but I think there's a bit here where the diversity of stuff to read and stuff to listen to and stuff like that is going to be insane.
But
then there's going to be a really interesting bit about how do we ensure that people can find stuff.
Right.
A bit like the internet today, isn't it?
Yeah. But all that only happens when you have a cost-effective way of delivering gaming content, the way that decentralized cloud gaming gives you, and that's again what we're proving out. Hey, don't want to keep you too much. I think you got an investor to talk to, and we've got to move on to the next topic. But thanks for recording this with me, and we'll make sure that we play it during the live stream today.
No, that's great. And just so people can take away, little final takeaway, the tech market from a VC perspective might be dead, but the tech market from a startup perspective in the Web 2 space is pumping. Even if Bitcoin goes to, I'm not even going to say a number. Yeah.
This is the floor. Now. This where we are today is a floor. I find this to be my thesis is this is support, and from here we're just going to go sideways and then back up again. So,
well, I thought that this morning. I was like 85K, and then someone messaged me as we were on a thing saying it's 82.
Yeah, 82 was the floor.
Oh, are we going up again now?
Yeah, it's in the last 4 hours anyways. We've gone up to like 83 and a half. But 82 has always been that was the call that I bought into a couple of days ago. So
very cool. Well done.
About a week ago.
I didn't. Yeah. But I should do. Anyway, thanks so much for your time, Jeff.
All right,
see you next week, mate. Take care.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye.
Boy, that actually, I'm gonna have to do this more often. That puts a lot of less stress on me to have a video playing instead of me having to be live and shooting from the hip the whole session. So that was Andy, and then that Yort thing. Yort, if you don't know, is so Andy's our CCO. If you're not familiar with who Andy is, he's our Chief Commercial Officer, and then popped in was Yort, our CEO. Who just, again, they're in the same airport. I didn't know if they planned. I don't know that they planned it. They didn't plan it with me that he would pop on, but so that is what was going on there. What the last thing I guess I got one last question I should probably address, and some will the recent market conditions affect our TGE? So TGE was announced to be locked on December 9th. I know that Andy and Yort had a lot of meetings in Helsinki with investors, and I know that they have some meetings scheduled for the beginning part of next week with not just who they met in Helsinki, but also some of our initial investors. Right now, I have no plans. We have no plans to make a change to the TGE, but one of the things we've always said about our project is that we don't do things just because we don't stay on a single path. We're able to be nimble. We're not like a Facebook that is so large you can't turn when you need to turn. We like to think that we're very agile in that way. Ultimately, I think, as I was saying in that video, I think that when you look at a market that is either going sideways or right now going down, it just appears everyone's like, oh, is this a bear market? I haven't bought into this being a bear. But even if it were, and again, we've been doing this since early 2024. So we've been through some cycles. I've been in the crypto industry since 2017. So I've seen some real bulls and some real bears. Ultimately, if you're adding value and you're innovating, you are doing the right thing. And you just don't listen necessarily, or you pay attention, but you don't structure your plans based on the market going up and down. You just add value by innovating. It's the only way you get out of a stagnant economy is to innovate your way out of it. Tech markets move fast. both up and down. Crypto market move even faster up and down. So the turnarounds can be very quick, and they can be, and then so can downturns also be very quick. They can find you very fast. So, but real innovation will always have value, and that's kind of where our heads always are. And sometimes it just requires more patience than other times. Sometimes you can jump in at the right time and you innovate a little bit and it goes really far. Sometimes you have to innovate for a long time and be patient before you get that same distance. But my thesis hasn't changed. I'm not speaking for myself now, not for YOM entirely. But I've always, since I got into the crypto market, to me, it was always that this is going to, we are seeing a change to the economic model based on some of the greatest technology that's been invented in my lifetime, and that is distributed ledger technology. It solves an ancient problem that the double booking problem. If you're not familiar enough with what if you're just jumping into cryptos and you haven't studied regular basic economics, then I think you're doing yourself a huge disservice. The first thing you ought to do is get educated onto why is distributed ledger technology so important. And again, YOM is a technology company that uses a blockchain for a payment system, but ultimately we're a technology company who are building technology that's never been able to be leveraged before because blockchain exists and you can do a distributed, a decentralized cloud. And we're proving that out by the way we're doing what we're doing. So you're right. We just stick to our plan. We don't have to make massive changes with market cycles, but we also, have a really, really good advisor pool and investor pool. And if they've got input that they want to put in, if they're, again, the change in the market that we're seeing, if it really does last as a change, we'll see over the weekend what happens. Then, and if they've got things that they want to say, we're smart enough to listen to them. We don't, what's the phrase? The smartest man always knows that he doesn't know everything. So we don't know everything, and we should take advice from people who know a lot of stuff, and use our own discernment to judge what the best path is I guess the way I'll leave that. Okay, man, this 45 minutes. That's a pretty good amount of time, I think, for a live stream. If you didn't pay attention to any of our previous live streams, they're all up on our YouTube channel as well. Follow us on Twitter, get involved in our Discord and our Telegram groups. Those are both very active. Look into our Medium pages or those articles. If you get information well from written articles, I would point you there. If you prefer videos, we've got plenty of those as well. Not just our official YOM account, but you can follow all the C-level people on all their individual X accounts. I am at Glasswalker PFFT on Twitter, and we have our CTO Rohan's on Twitter as well, and so is Jord, our CEO, and so is Andy, our CCO. So you can follow all of our Twitter accounts. We're active. I might be the most active, but I think the others are stepping into the. Andy's pretty active too. I shouldn't say that. All right. Did I get so? Again, as far as we know, TGE December 9th. Nano sales are live now. You can purchase you can there's only 1,000, by the way, going off in this first founders set. Those first 1,000, once they're gone, it could be a little while before we ship more, just because we want to scale the network with the workload. We don't want to have, and we've seen other DePIN projects do this, where they sell an ass ton of nodes out there, and then because they're so diluted, no one's earning really any kind of money with their nodes. So everyone's like, the value of this thing is no good. So they stop using it, and of course the networks fail. We, on the other hand, are being very conservative. We'll launch put some out in the marketplace and load them up with games. And as we add more games, we'll sell more. So we'll ladder step it, as opposed to just selling as many as we possibly could manufacture, and then find out that everyone's like, I'm not earning any money. Why am I still running this node? And they shut it down. The whole network fails. So again, our mentality is to slow and steady wins the race. Anyways, only 1,000 available in this first load. So if you want one, grab one. I had a question earlier about like what size gaming rig should I get to power a node. It really is amount of we have on the website actually a cost. Oh, here, let me bring that up. I'll delay my turning this off for one quick second, and I will go live with the YOM page. So YOM.net. Oh, here, I'll share my screen here. And on the website, you can go to the Nano page, and there is yes, we didn't invent code, and we made it sustainable, and you get to own it, which is of course part of the power. But the calculate the earnings to run the rig test, there is you could spend more money to get a beefier machine and be able to host more nodes. That's hosting more nodes isn't the only indicator of how much you'd be earning, because it's also dependent on your upload speed, which again, this run your rig test will tell you, and the amount of people who in your region who are looking to game. So if you're in Antarctica and you can run 5 streams, it's not as valuable to you as if you're in, say, the Netherlands and you can run 5 streams, because there's just more gamers in the Netherlands and they'll be in Antarctica. So there's a lot of factors in there. As far as which machines you get, we're RTX are only at this point, but you could find all the stats for what kinds of machines you should build. Again, it's all on this page. I would say I would point you towards this, and actually that QR code right there can also probably point you in the right direction, because I'm not going to be able to tell you which one. Which one is really up to you based on. Oh, here it is. Calculate your earnings. Well, that's the rig check page. That's not the one I was looking for. I wanted to go to. Nope, that button's not the one I want to go either. Where did we put the calculator? We've changed it. I apologize, but the recheck is really where you want to go anyways. It's probably the smartest thing for you to do, because you want to, again, gauge, is my machine that I'm running going to be powerful enough? Oh, if you're wondering, like, oh, I don't know which machine is powerful enough because I haven't purchased it yet, then I would point you to the docs section. Go to our docs page, and there is, amongst all the other documents, the this page here. There we go. The NANO page. Not just a recheck, but again, 2060 or higher will run. And I think we got to get these numbers updated. But that is where I would go. All right. I hope I captured all the questions and respond to everybody like I wanted to. If you have anything else, just follow us up on our socials. You can hit us up there. If you're offering a service, I'll let you know. I'm getting bombarded again, so it may be slow to answer. All right. Thanks, everybody. We will talk again next week. Cheers.